Hi guys, another unplanned live. I know we did a deep dive yesterday with the guides on the activation and awakening and alignment with the rainforest codes that are opening now in our DNA. And if you want the deep dive on that, the link is in the description here for this video. And I'm just feeling there's another message. We're in the run up to the solstice, winter solstice, and as we run up to this solstice, there's another message for us from the guides, and they really want to bring in a bit more support, not just with the preparation for the solstice energies, but with the what we're moving into in the coming months. Gaia's next phase of ascension, where she activates and vibrates with new resonances that trigger processes in our physical bodies, which are then able to rest in a vibratory state of oneness, like a remembering of oneness. It's a vibratory remembering. There's something happening in the body's own consciousness, so not our minds and not our, wandering attention or our awareness. This is something that simply we begin to physically vibrate with more and more. Now, this is a continuation, of course, from the 2020 Eye of the Needle activations, where the body was deeply called home into that stillness, that reset of I'm a body, one within the earth, remembering its own rhythms and patterns, and the natural rhythms and patterns within our biorhythms that are synchronized with our energy rhythms, our heart rhythms, our breath rhythms, our system, the rhythms in our systems, synchronizing not just within our own energy fields and systems, but within the planetary rhythms and patterns and the planetary energy systems. And this symbiosis is just going to continue to deepen. Now, we're approaching now another opening, another intensification, if you like, just the next phase of humanity being called home within Gaia. So the guides want to talk. I'm getting the sense that where they're going to go, it's a shorter channeling today. You'll be happy to know. And it's like where they want to go is our relationship to the elements. Now, as we enter a state of grace, we call ourselves home to harmony, and we begin to vibrate with the resonances, the grace frequencies, the grace resonances bodily that place us in harmony and symbiosis within the planet more and more and more. Now, as we do this, these resonances, they make some of our dissonances unsustainable. So fear, anxiety, frustration, anger, grief, these things have to rise up. And we process by facing our fear, by facing our anger, by facing our grief. And when we go through a global shift like the one that we're moving into now, we can manifest a lot more for ourselves externally than we need to if we were to turn inwards and own and process consciously our fear, anxiety, grief, and anger vibrations as they arise. And if we were to more consciously align ourselves with the grace resonances, which are gratitude, celebration, joy, compassion, because when we align ourselves with those resonances and we choose to be unconditionally grateful just because we are and life is and the day is, what happens is rather than bypassing all the uncomfortable feelings and the non-grateful feelings that arise in us, we actually bring them up. We're in a better state, in a better position to see those feelings in us, and to be safe while we see them. But we're also holding a grace resonance that is what dissolves that fear, that is what dissolves that anger, that is what calls those things not to just rise up in us, but also sends them home. So I'm pointing to a rather deep way of owning and embodying our sovereignty and energy and awareness as we move into the next phase of Gaia's ascension. So with that kind of nod, let's just see what guides or what's coming through as a channeling now. Okay, I can feel the Pleiadians. Arcturians. And yeah, okay, it's those guys today, mostly. We come to you, beloveds, as friends, as brothers and sisters in the stars. And you know as well, many of you, for your connections with us are very active, no? And we are not new faces in your arena of co-creative consciousness, supporting you in your continued ascension. Always on hand to help with your ascension pains and growing pains, if you like, and to be here as bringers of grace and support into your your personal systems and processes. As you shift, expand, contract, and release, you are always being gifted support from those avenues where you have given conscious permission and we would suggest to give more conscious permission. We will always remind you of this because you can't ask too much. It's very important. You cannot ask too much. So please do remember to keep asking. It's not automatic, but yet it is freely available, always freely given with love. And always align, we would say, to ask for support from the very and only the very highest sources, the most appropriate sources, and enlist the authorship of your higher self, the gatekeeper of your higher self, who knows what's for you and what is in alignment at this time, and can access the Akashic whole of consciousness to bring you the resources that are going to support you in the coming time. So this is the first point we wish to make, is call for support and call for the highest aligned support, and always go through your higher self. Okay, now we have a topic to bring to you today which is aligned with we want to speak about fear. And in order to speak about fear, we must first bring in the connection, the embodied, resonant connection to unconditional love. Yes? Because who would wish to simply speak about fear and hold that vibration? We say this, and yet so many of you engage with media and content that holds a fear vibration. So there is a part of human consciousness always engaging with this content in order to process the trapped and constricting and limiting fear vibrations that are contained within your fields. No, when you watch a film that triggers these vibrations, when you listen to music and frequencies that trigger these vibrations, there is always a movement, but we can go beyond being in a trapped relationship with fear. No? So in the coming upshift, the planetary upshift that you're moving into now, there is a beautiful awakening and a re-emergence of divine love. The body is getting to remember the feeling, resonances of being in a state of receiving divine love as part of the planetary body, as part of the planetary consciousness. And this brings with it feelings of belonging that stabilize and ground and root and earth the body vibratorily in ways that have not been open to the collective for a very long time. To certain individuals, certainly, but to the collective, the human blueprint itself is shifting to support a more collective state of being more grounded, more rooted, more earth. There are control mechanisms leaving the fields of your tribe that have long prevented full grounding, full earthing, that have been designed, in fact, and effective in controlling how earth energies enter and leave the system of the human energy field. So we want to speak to a little bit of that returning sense of belonging, rooting, and grounding. Now, for many of you, what happens when you reconnect with healthy energies, natural energies, and your energy bodies start to reconfigure themselves along the more natural pathways in your fields, well, the old energetic systems must rise up to be released. No, they cannot be sustained. Know that you have, each of you, masses of divine intervention, incredible support to enable you to let go of your old energetics without needing to relive the fear and pain that put them in place in the first place. Because this is the fear and pain of disconnectivity, when we want to encourage you to focus on the joy and the grace of reconnectivity. Now, as you consciously shift your focus to reconnectivity, you will experience less of the rising release. And the rising release will, if you like, be able to leave more efficiently, more gracefully, and more elegantly, with less exit wound damage on its way out. There are normally universal laws that apply that mean that in order for something to release, all of your attachments must be seen, processed, and worked with by you, so that old energetics and the investment in the old energetics, the why in the old energetics, the cause and the root core reason for the old energetics, which for many of you goes into your soul story of falling into separation within yourselves, within the earth, within God and consciousness, within the all that is. Very, very deeply rooted whys of these old energetics to disconnect from. Well, there isn't time for each and every one of you to process each and every part of your attachments, of your whys, of your core whys of these old energetics that are going to be leaving your system in coming months. So this is what we are on hand for. This is what your higher self is for. This is what the love of all that is assisting with now. This is the nature of divine intervention, is to prevent you from needing to consciously process all of your, why have I done this? What do I need to realize? Now, those of you who have very clear soul directives about what you must realize will have to follow those directives, but you will have unlimited support. And we want to emphasize this unlimited nature of the support available at this time. Cool on it, really, now. Just do that. It brings us so much joy to show up in this way. Do not feel you have to go through the coming months the difficult way. There is a graceful path opening for each of you. Now, as we talk about the old energetics, we talk about what put them in place in the first place. This is when in separation from love, what arises but fear. Fear is what is there, and fear is what is here. And when you reconnect to the love of all that is vibratorily as a body that has its own dimensions of consciousness, free from the manipulation and management of mind and thought, resonances will be active in your field that will bring fear to the surface. Now, we can fear fear itself, but there is no need to fear the fear itself. There has long been in the consciousness of humanity a fear of Gaia and Gaia's elements and the natural force of Gaia's elements. This fear has arisen naturally as a consequence, a logical consequence of bodily falling into a disconnected vibratory state within the planet, so that the body experiences itself in disharmony with the elements, and the elements become a source of friction, of impact, of damage, of overwhelm, of harm, of suffering, of danger. And this learned recognition of elemental force as danger is encoded into the core animal responses within your bodies as instructions, as hardwired instructions within your DNA to fear. Elemental forces themselves are going through a harmonic shift at this time. As human consciousness ascends, and Gaia consciousness ascends, the elemental state is shifting from separation to union. You can think of this as the yin yang of the elements. So within the element of fire, you will also find water, air, and earth. Within the element of water, you will find fire, air, earth, and so on. Within the element of each, of one, you will find all. But one will be expressing more. And it is the same with humans and human expression. It is the same with gender. It is the same with identity. It is the same with faces and races and nations. Within one, you will find all, but some things will be expressing more than others. And yet there is always the all within the one. So it is with the elements now, and this is part of Gaia's evolutionary ascension, but you are bodies and you are also Gaia. So within your own ascension, there are elemental shifts happening internally within you in your fields. And so this is manifested externally. Now, as the consciousness and the body consciousness learns to re-recognize elemental forces in their harmonious state, there is a large information packet reaching the whole consciousness, which allows the body to rest in a deeper state of relaxation because it is recognizing symbiosis, the more natural, the most natural state. The body is recognizing the elements as safe, as graceful, as harmonious, as something to breathe with and be with, something that causes joy, delight, pleasure, safety, contentment, resourcefulness, and a plethora of positive creation, resourcing associations. Now, these are new associations forming now. The old associations haven't left the system. The old associations have learned to fear the suffering caused by the elements. There is likely to be cause during Gaia's next ascension for humanity to experience more of fear around the elements. Now, we are here to help you mitigate what you are collectively manifesting in order to help and heal yourselves, to accelerate yourselves through your next collective and individual ascension phase. The more of grace you can align with, the more of harmony you can rest in, the more of love you can experience around your body's relationship to the natural earth, the less of fear you need to manifest externally for yourselves and as a global story for each and all of you to move through. You are manifesting more and more global stories as a beautifully effective mechanism to save, which is part of divine intervention. It is saving you from each of you individually having to manifest dissonances in your personal worlds in order to grow, respond, make new choices, and heal from. You are manifesting collective and global situations because you have global media. So a global attention can find one event to have one focus on. Well, and then to have billions of unique individual narratives within, all of which are relevant. We cannot emphasize this enough. All of the unique individual billions of narratives are relevant. There is no one truth moving through these ascension years. So you are guided to ask for support in specifically releasing your old energetics, releasing your old stories around grounding and rooting and earthing within the earth, releasing your old stories and energetics. Stories means beliefs and emotions and responses and expectations and dreams and desires, limitations. Releasing your old stories and energetics around belonging within the earth. And releasing your old stories and fears around the elements, around your body, your home, your safety, your security, your comfort, your protection, your nourishment, your resourcing, and the elements. And coming into alignment with the grace and the harmony of the new earth vibratory state within the body that is emerging and that is bringing with it new energy alchemies that put you in direct resonance with the body consciousness as it remembers being one within a field of planetary consciousness. The body matter as it remembers being harmonious with the earth matter. The body elements as they remember being harmonious within the earth elements. Actually, there is no separation between the body and the earth, and the elements breathe in symbiotic flow. We urge you to call for support in this and to consciously align yourselves with the new, the beautiful new energetics coming online in you now that are going to hold you and call you home to these new earth resonances of body oneness within Gaia. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are delighted to be able to come through for this little short coffee meeting. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you and speaking with you and meeting in this way again soon. We are the Pleiadians and friends, convening solely for this conversation. Okay, that's their message. So take a moment, I would, just to breathe in the connection, because riding on the message, I'm feeling these lovely divine resonances of love, friendship, the giftings that come through, and a moment for us to do exactly what they said and just give ourselves 1 minute now to say yes to the support that's for us in the moment, to engage our higher selves as the ultimate gatekeeper for what we're receiving, to make sure it's safe and appropriate and highly aligned, and to say yes to the support for everything that was just recommended and anything else that's in our hearts and awarenesses right now. So you may want to open to notice the physical sensations in the body as you do this, not looking for anything or naming things, but letting attention take in the vibrations, meeting sensations as vibrations rather than stories in the body now. And for those of you who feel beyond the body, into the body field and the energy field now, just with that yes, yes, thank you, I receive this support, I am open to this. I know, I'm quite grateful to have that little reminder. I'm so used to feeling like we have to process everything on our own and that we have to face everything the difficult way, and it's got to be hard work. And actually, they're just saying the more we align with the new, the more easily the old leaves and the less we're going to manifest it individually and as a global collective. All right, lovelies, that's it for now. I say short channeling. It's actually been 23 minutes we've been live. So I'm just going to wrap this up and say, look, on Tuesday, the 20th, for the solstice, there's going to be a channeled Q&A live. And Jiva Rang, voice of Gaia, she'll be joining us. And we're going to see what's going to come through. It's going to be pre-solstice to help us be aligned for the actual solstice energies. And we do this before the solstice, because on the solstice day, it's lovely. The idea is you should already be aligned, rather than feeling like you've got to go and do all these things to work with the energies. It's nice to prepare before the solstice, come into alignment. And when we're in alignment within ourselves, we're in alignment with the energies that are going to open in the solstice gateway. And so that's what the guides and Jiva Ann and I are going to be opening space for on Tuesday afternoon. That's going to be 3:30 Central European time. So that on the 21st, for those of you who like to spend these gateway days the way I do, we can just be and rest and receive and go with, and know that we're already all right. We're already where we need to be. So thank you so much for joining. And yeah, if you want to get notified about Tuesday event, email me and just let me have your email address so I can send you out the notifications and the link. And that's infinityresonance@gmail.com. All right. Bye for now.